At the T-minus 3-minute mark, tape recorders on board the spacecraft were turned on. These recorders record both voice and data. Now building up to 7.7 million pounds of thrust. And we have a liftoff. Moving back. The Saturn V lifting off of Alpha.
This is WOMMLP operating out of Burlington, Vermont. 105.9 The Radiator. It's the Rocket Shop. I'm your host, Tom Proctor. And with me tonight is Reid Parsons and Steve Similades.
Yeah.
Did I nail it?
Oh, yeah.
Thank you. How are you guys doing this evening?
Doing great. Really appreciating this heat. It's been a cold one.
It is quite toasty in here. I'm glad they cranked out the little mini radiators we got around.
Oh, yeah.
So we always like getting started with the song. So you would like to introduce it and take it away.
Sure. So the song we'll be playing right now is called Addison. It speaks for itself. Clocking in at 7 again, it won't be till past dark when I get out. I'm living way up in the clouds, but I will never be as high as my own damn rent. Dear Addison, you take me in a week or so, when I'm out of it and want back again. The sun cut through my sleeve to skin as I shifted through the gears, made smooth by the years. In Dutchess County, pulled over for gas and cheap caffeine. What a couple 100 miles drains from me, dear Addison. You take me in a week or so, when I'm out of it and want back again. Just like that, I'm back in, turning on my fridge. Ain't no way to live, but it's the only way I know how. The matter of the fact is that these legs still itch, despite the tiredness creeping back in their bones. Alone again, alone again. Can I count these county lines as my old friends? Alone again, alone again. Oh, save for these near sacred strung out lands. Here's to Addison for taking me in. I'll raise a glass, but I can't promise never to leave again.
Addison there by Reid Parsons. Absolutely lovely song. And that's the first track off your first EP.
Yep.
Self-titled EP.
Yes.
Had
to make it easy.
Yeah, and I understand you got the opportunity to record this EP, because you won the Advanced Music Singer-Songwriter competition last year in 2017. So tell me a little bit about the experience of winning that esteemed title.
Well, the first step of it was right next door at Arts Riot. That was where my semifinal was, and almost didn't go because I was working down in Addison County, which is where I wrote the song, and commuting 2 hours a day. So I was like completely exhausted and really wasn't, I don't know, having a great time. It's hard in late October to motivate, as sometimes happens. But I decided to go down there and give it a shot, and was really impressed by everyone, but I get really excited by competitions, so I was ready to go, and took that title home, and then went on to the Higher Ground show, and had to play last, which was super nerve-wracking, but it also gave me a chance to see like what kind of songs I should do and what needed to be done with the audience better, and how I needed to wake them up. So got to go down there and play, and that experience was incredible, and I felt really lucky afterwards. Just like being able to be that supported by the community is kind of it's something really special, because so many different important members of the community are all coming together to help you and give me this huge opportunity to record, because that's always like this giant hurdle,
right?
For your first time.
It's always so expensive to get to the studio and get a right producer and
and musicians who you want to pay properly and get the best ones you can. So
fantastic opportunity. What are the other sort of people you're up against? Was it all kind of like folk and acoustic, or do you have a few kind of different genres into the mix? Yeah,
it was like majority kind of folky and acoustic, but there's only one person who didn't play guitar, I think, the whole time, and a couple people. One person played banjo, Ethan Tisler, and then Stephanie Tonneson played the keyboard, but it was like mostly a lot of folky people, but not, and a good number of women, but not as many as you would like to see. So
I'm guessing one of the big focuses in order to claim the crown is just fantastic lyrical ability. And you just mentioning before how you were getting up very early to go to work for 2 hours away, and one of your first lines in that song is about getting up when it's dark and basically going home when it's dark. So do you feel that your lyrical ability really was a big factor in winning this prize?
Definitely. I think I'm a good songwriter, but I know that I'm a good writer, and that's something that I'm like very confident in. And have been, like, the lyrics are never really the tricky part. They're always kind of the fun part for me. Right. So yeah.
So how do you like create one of these songs? Is it lyrics first? You kind of got a book of rhymes that you kind of carry
these
around
questions? I've always had a hard time answering this, because it totally depends. But most of the time, I honestly I think my best songs, like Addison, I wrote while I was driving. So it's like kind of just like imagining how the song is in your head and then singing it out. I do a lot of voice memos, so it's not really a lot of writing. It's mostly just recording and then going back and tweaking through a couple drafts. So it comes at the same time, kind of.
I was going to say, it sounds pretty dangerous, kind of like driving and scribbling down a notebook at the same time.
No.
Is it ever a collaborative effort? Steve, you're also in the quote-unquote band. Do you ever get together and
it's
together?
Only a band. It's only been a band once, and that was at her EP release at Arts Riot. Outside of that, it's only ever Reid and I. And yeah, I mean, she's not like really telling me what to play when she brings me these songs. She kind of plays them for me, and then I'll come up with a part, and she might tweak it a little bit. But that's kind of how I just kind of create my own parts to her songs, and they seem to flow well with what she does.
Yeah, we like sing. I'll sing something, and then
if
play
she's got
it.
Something in mind, she'll sing it, and then I can usually
make
pick
it
up
better.
right away.
How much was that a factor when you were recording this EP? So first time I'm guessing in a big professional studio.
Yeah.
Other musicians coming in. What was the vision you had going into that studio, and what kind of came out of that? And did they match up? Was it better? Was it worse? What did you think afterwards?
Vision is hard for songs when you're playing them by yourself because I don't play other instruments, and as much as I would like to, it's not like really my forte.
You play saxophone.
Yeah, I do
Just
play the
let me get in there and tell you that you play saxophone.
and the bagpipes. Anyways, so my main thing was that I wanted to kind of like I wanted to have it be a similar kind of concept of what Steve and I do. I like sing something or just throw out an idea, see what the musician is interested in doing. Like I wrote out some charts, but otherwise I was really, really interested in making it more of a collaborative effort.
She also brought in
and I brought
really
in
good
super awesome musicians who were
Yeah.
able to make that feasible. Yeah.
As part of the prize, do you have like a stipend to be able to pay these musicians while you record, or is it kind of like you just get your friends together and you're like, you know what, I'll get you a 6-pack and we'll get some pizza in and we'll jam out in the recording studio for
No, I
for
got
3 hours?
there is a cash prize that is part of the whole thing, but that went directly to just buying like physical EPs and other similar expenses because they add up. But no, that was all out of pocket, and then with the bassist and guitarist, they just kind of went
Just
along for the ride.
Yeah. Reid and I are pals, so you know. And we were talking about this the other day. We've probably played like 40 gigs this year, probably. And so I mean, I get paid at those, so I'm happy to do that.
Prolific, 40 gigs.
I actually got the guitar that she won at the Advanced Music
through
Singer-Songwriter
a bartering kind of system.
We did a trade. I basically played like a bunch of free gigs until it was paid off, and now I have a Taylor acoustic.
Yeah. It worked well for both of us because I was like, I have this, Martin, and I don't need anything else. But yeah.
I want to talk about 40 gigs. I mean, you got this out in November, correct? So you know you've not even started the EP tour yet.
Yeah.
So 40 gigs prior to that. Where have you been? What have you been doing? Is this all just been in ramping up?
It's like majority playing in Burlington. We've been really lucky to have like a ton of support from the Skinny Pancakes specifically. They like always are. Wilbur's always down to let us play, which has been super nice. And then recently started playing more at Deli 126, which has been really cool. And
We played Radio Bean maybe
a
like
lot.
7 times.
But everyone, you got to do the Radio Bean circuit, and they're awesome. And then we've been traveling a little bit in Vermont as well, just going to like different seasonal events. We played at Champlain Orchards, where I used to work in the fall, and played at Skinny Pancake in Hanover. So yeah, which was interesting. But just like, I mean, there's no glory to the gigs. They are.
Some of them are really awesome, and some of them are very mellow. I mean, all of our music's really mellow. So I mean, but some of them, you can tell that people are getting, like it's hitting them, and then in others you can tell that people are eating their food.
I was going to say, you guys have got a very kind of like easygoing Sunday afternoon brunch kind of style to you. You know, I could very much imagine listening to you in the background while tucking into my French toast. But I mean, that's me as a listener, as the musicians. Where do you, when you create these songs, what do you envision when you imagine someone listening to it?
I mean, I oftentimes think of people listening alone and while driving or while walking.
Great driving
like
music.
It's good, like motion music, and so it feels. I don't get. It's not upsetting to me when people don't like listen actively when I'm at a gig. Like I would rather someone tunes in every once in a while, but I know how I am at live shows, and you can't always be 100% present. So it's motion music. Yeah.
Well, I would love to hear another song.
Sure.
So, what have you got for us?
This is Charlie, which is not exactly a background song. This is the one that always seems to make people either pay attention or leave. And this one I wrote it when I was living in Nashville briefly.
Okay, take it away.
All right.
Charlie, come up to the house. There's no use in you hiding out. I can see what you've been doing, but the towel that you threw in needs to air out. Charlie, there's no use in crying. Man up, there are little children dying. from hunger. Yes, I saw you hand your dinner little by little to the dog. But Charlie, he never listened. He wasn't like our other children. And if I had to tell you the truth, I don't love metal. Charlie found love in a gun. Mama was happy, he was busy. Daddy thought nothing of his son. So Charlie shook the hand of the recruiter at the entrance of the school, and then he was gone. 9 years later, he's telling me this story, and I'm trying hard to focus, but we're tangled in the sheets. And though last night was more than alright, something about him feels wrong. There's no photos on his bedside table, just a handgun. And I'm trying not to notice, but my hands are going numb. And Charlie, he never listened. He wasn't like those other children. And if I had to tell you the truth, I don't love him at all. No, 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 no. Ooh, run, Charlie, run. Charlie, come up to the house. There's no use in you hiding out. I can see where you've been doing. You need to get out.
Charlie by Reid Parsons there. And so I read online that Charlie has a bit of a background to it, the song itself. Written in Nashville, as you just previously mentioned, and there was a few lyrics in there that gave me a bit of a pause for thought. The gun on the bedside table, for example.
Yes.
So, would you like to give me a bit more background on this, or if it's not too much?
Yeah. No.
Private story.
No, it's okay. It's less of a private story, more of like I like when people interpret it in their own way. So plug your ears if this is not what you want to hear about. But basically, I met a strange person and was kind of wondering why they were that way. So the second half of the song after the first chorus is all like my actual experience in my first person. And then I wrote kind of backwards from there and wrote this guy's backstory from the perspective of his mom. To be like, well, how did someone end up this way? And it's like pretty, I mean, I am not an apolitical person at all. I don't use a lot of my music as like a revolutionary means most of the time. Like most of the time it's just for me personally to deal with things. But this was at a time when there was just a ton of violence and school shootings, and I really had hoped that I wouldn't have to sing this song and have it be still relevant all the time, and it is, and it just makes me think of kind of how we, as a society, especially parents, are failing their sons, I think, and that's kind of what I wanted to write this song about, and how someone can turn out to be like a violent or a just like non-loving person. And where that comes from.
And the songs you create, I mean, it's interesting hearing you saying you met this guy and you kind of creating this song from the perspective of his own mother. There's another song, I believe, I can't remember which one it is now. It might be I Don't Mind. It's about a relationship from kind of start to finish within the same song. It's how do you get these ideas of taking a relatively, standard story and then seeing it from these different angles or different pace of narratives? Do they just come to you? Are you reading novels that have got the same kind of similar kind of pacing? Where are you getting this from?
I write a lot, so it's trying to entertain myself, kind of. Like a lot of these songs come out of like a pretty long run of songs that are all very similar, which sometimes ends up happening, and then I have to choose the best one out of it, and oftentimes that's a song with a new perspective or multiple narrators, and I don't know. I love to read as well, and yeah, so I don't know. I am oftentimes very bored by songs and try to entertain myself through my own and write what's not out in the world, hopefully.
And it has been noted on a 7 Days article, no less, that these songs touch on common hardships, but with a core of hope. Would you say that's an accurate description of the theme of your songs?
Yeah, although, I mean, I really appreciate the hope thing, because that's not... I felt like that part, I was like, oh man, I'm really glad that someone reads hope into these songs, because I oftentimes, feel pretty depressed when I'm writing, but I guess, yeah, I stopped writing happy endings to songs and started writing them more honestly, and I guess the hope still comes through at the end.
This is the tone of your voice or something. And so this is your first EP, and I've often been told by many a musician that creating an EP, creating an album is a difficult process, and especially your first one, it's oftentimes a long time in the make. And I did read that one of your songs, Not Ready to Return, took several years to make. So how did you go about getting these five songs together? Because obviously you won the competition in 2017. Did you already have the track list in mind? How did it all form, and what was it like finally getting it out?
Yeah, so a lot of these songs are older, in fact. Don't discriminate. There's no ageism in the songs. Anyways, I write a lot, as I mentioned. I have an excess of songs. That's not ever been the issue. It's just choosing them and making them cohesive. So I went to Meadowlark where I recorded this, and we cut 12 demos and then chose from that. But choosing even before the 12 demos, I kind of just broke them all down into these different categories and was like, okay, so these are kind of moodier songs. This is kind of a brighter song. Did them also by different keys. Did a kind of a process of elimination to break it down from the 40 that I had interest in to these 5. So took a little while, but I think it was worth it. So, yeah.
Probably a bit of a Sophie's Choice kind of situation towards the end of that.
It's my hope that one day, it's sad to think of songs that will never be recorded, but that's okay. You gotta let them go.
Unfortunately, we've not got too much time left, but I always like to end on what you guys have got coming up and anywhere that people can find you, and basically let you guys plug whatever you've got coming up, or whatever social medias that you have glommed onto.
Yeah. So we have a gig on the 31st at Highlight in the Unitarian Universalist Church of Burlington at 1:30 p.m., I believe.
Church gig.
First church gig.
Church gig.
I don't think I've never had a church gig during the day. And then we're playing at Skinny Pancake on February 2nd, but those are the only 2 that are coming up soon. And then, you can find the EP at read.com or readparsonsmusic.com. They lead you to the same place, but yeah.
All right. No Bandcamp. Oh, I did see you're on Spotify, though.
Yeah, it's on Spotify.
So
and iTunes and all that jazz, but you can also get it directly from me.
Last question. I did just notice on the back of this EP that you gave me before the show that you made the album artwork yourself. Is that true?
Yep.
So multi-talented, saxophone, songwriter, and artist.
I took a
bagpipes.
Bagpipes. There we go.
Yep. I took a really sweet screen printing class at Iskra Print Collective, and that's my kitchen sink right there. Yeah.
So. There we go. I'd love to hear one last song before you go. What have you got for us?
Yeah, I think...
Do Not Ready to Return.
We're going to just do Not Ready to Return, the last song on the EP.
All right. Take it away.
Cool.
One by one, my bones break ashes start rising up like hell snowflakes. Somehow I'm not reborn, I'm just standing in the wreckage of this unnatural storm. Whoa, whoa, wind, blow me away. Give me sails, give me an ocean and a safe harbor at the end of the day. Whoa, whoa, fire burn deep in my lungs. I have come from this here earth, but I'm not ready to return. One by one, my hands shake like the demons in my body are itching to escape. I beckon them out, pray to throw them to the ground, but I tire easy and settle down. Whoa, whoa, up comes my fear and out comes this song. Whoa, whoa, wind, blow me away. Give me sails, give me an ocean and a safe harbor at the end of the day. Whoa, whoa, fire burn deep in my lungs. I've come from this here earth, but I'm not ready to return. Go to the streams. The air burns my lungs and it brings me back to me. I said, go to the valley, oh, go to the sea. The water cools my skin and it brings me back to me. I've come from this here earth, but I'm not ready to return. I have come from this here earth, but I'm not ready to return.
Reid Parsons there with Not Ready to Return. Thank you guys so much for coming in. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Bit of a frog in your throat there. Well, yeah, thank you guys. And if you, when your next EP comes out, please give us another shout. We'll be happy to have you back in again.
Of course. Thanks so much.
We've got Justin LaPointe coming on the show in just a moment, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.